Our purpose at WE is to change the dismal statistics of our people, particularly Māori and Pasifika people. We do this through helping small and medium-sized businesses to thrive. Our businesses need our help. So many have felt the pressures of lockdown and are facing challenges that they've never faced before. Challenges that are impacting their livelihoods. That is why we're bringing you this series, to share stories of the people behind our businesses, their successes, their failures, their challenges, and their triumphs.
If you are already in business, we hope you will be inspired. Perhaps someone will share one piece of gold that makes a difference in your business. If you've been thinking about starting a business, we hope that you will be motivated to start your own business venture.
We hope that by sharing these stories, we can help small businesses on the road to recovery all across New Zealand, Australia, and the Pacific.
So grab your cup of tea and whakarongo mai. Kia ora te whānau nau mai, haere mai. Welcome to our cup of tea this evening. Now you're going to have to, I'll apologise in advance because we have our first Australian on the show and it's taken me a little while to get used to his accent myself. So I'm really sorry, but you're going to be stuck with an Australian accent for the next half an hour. So we've got Bernard with us this evening from MGA Insurance Brokers Limited, PTY, and he's also with MK Embarks. I hope I said that right. And he's also the co-chair of the Pacific Business Sports and Entrepreneurs page on Facebook. So welcome, Bernard. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thanks, Wendy. Thanks for having me, and it's an absolute pleasure to be the first Aussie Samoan to be on your platform.
It's awesome, and not the last.
Hopefully not.
So tell us, you've got your hands in a whole lot of pies. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're up to.
So MGA Insurance Brokers, I run the Sydney, or I'm the Sydney franchise owner. So that's my core business. I have about 11 staff in total. So both here in Sydney and Brisbane. We look after general insurance programs for clients. We've got about 4,500 clients across Australia. So we help them with their insurance policies, help them with their risk management, that sort of stuff. So that's a core business. MK Embarks is a consultancy business, and that sort of started about 5 years ago. So do a lot of BDM and sales and marketing consultancy stuff, do a lot of consulting to the Pacific space, been fortunate enough to be involved with clients such as the NRL, helping them with commercializing, Pacific tests and community engagement and all that sort of stuff. And I guess our passion project has been Pacific Business Sports and Entrepreneurs. So that's actually a platform I think we met on, Wendy, and it's basically a platform where Pacific Islanders come to share content of inspiration, share stories about Pacific success, and sort of network. I know it's quite an informal sort of platform at the moment. We are registered, but a ton of business sort of gets done on there informally. So yeah, I guess they're the three parts of who I am.
That's a whole lot of stuff. Let's talk about, so how long ago did you start in business?
6 years now, Wendy. So it's been about 6 years. And look, I guess for me, I actually started off as an employee in that stage. So I've been with MGA for about 10 years in total. And, I just sort of woke up one day and I just didn't want that. I just wanted to build something in terms of, something that I can call my, my own. And, I didn't want to sort of turn up to work one day and sort of be told that, I no longer have a job. So for me, I played a lot of sport when I was younger, and I set a lot of goals. And I guess for me, it was about setting new goals, building something that I can call my own, and building a future and support that I can financially support not only my immediate family, my wife and kids, but my extended family. So that was pretty much why I got into business originally.
So what were the steps that you took when you went from being an employee to then being an employer? So you made the decision. What did you have to do to get there?
So at this stage, we were only a small sort of office. We were 3 in total, and it just come down to timing, and just come down to having that conversation with the then owner about getting my skin in the game, and I sort of had some money saved up. We had some money saved up actually to sort of buy a house, and we had the conversation, and funnily enough, he was actually looking to get out of the business, and I was looking to get into business, and sort of as a perfect timing. So the steps were we did a market valuation on how much the book of business was worth at the time, in addition to some of the money that I saved up. I took out a loan to secure it, and then basically drafted up all the contracts, did the sale agreement, and that was pretty much it. So we started off with 3 staff, and now we're up to 11. We got an office up in Brisbane, we've got an office here in Sydney, and I also managed to start and sell a joint venture as well during that period, and it's been quite good. I've actually really enjoyed the journey.
That's a pretty impressive 6 years.
It's been all right. I don't know. It's people talk about business thinking it's all straight up, but there definitely have been some challenges, tons of challenges, tons of ups and downs, and just thankful that I've had the support that I've had over the last 5-6 years, and had the people that I've had around me to help me get through it all.
So a few things that you talked about there. Let's talk about the one that you've just finished on. Who have you had around you? Like, who have been some of the key people that have been on your journey through business?
So the biggest thing when I first went into business, when people get into business, they're usually good at what it is that they want to get into. So, for example, if you're good at printing T-shirts, you're good at that, but the business side, you might not necessarily be good at that. Whereas in my case, I was a great insurance broker and great at giving advice. But my business understanding, was quite minimal. I've been exposed to business, with family businesses and things like that. But, for me, first it was just identifying that, I couldn't be everything in the business. I had to realize what my strengths were in business. Then I had to surround myself with people that brought that skill set. Although I looked at numbers and risk all day long, it didn't necessarily mean that, I run a proper profit and loss. But, I was bringing those sorts of people in. So I was bringing people into the business that complemented my skill set. And then there was having mentors. So, I had a mentor in relation to insurance and, bringing me along in my insurance career. And I had a group of business mentors who have done things, who have failed, and who gave me advice on what to do and what not to do. So then that's in addition to just family support. I've got wife and kids and, siblings, and, they've all played a very important role to sort of get me and get the business to where we were at today.
It's quite interesting, when you said that you've got, you had a group of mentors around you, and there's that saying that you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. If you want to be a millionaire, hang out with millionaires. So is it right to assume then that these people that you spent lots of time with had been in business, they obviously knew what they were doing, and so you could learn and grow and from them?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm big about surrounding myself with I guess positive mentors, and that's exactly what I did. I was constantly reminded of times where they failed in business, and they constantly gave me advice about things to avoid. And I've had hiccups. Don't get me wrong. I've had massive hiccups, but I've had to learn to overcome that, and I've had to learn to sort of pull back on other areas and trust people more, or not trust people so easily. So it's definitely been challenging, but it's enjoyable. I didn't have this much grey hair and and stuff when I started off in business, and I was definitely a lot lighter.
It tends to happen for some reason, but we're also still working late at night, and I think that probably doesn't help either.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned a couple of times now some of the challenges that you've faced. So what are some of the smaller challenges that you've had to overcome over the years?
Man, look, cash flow is probably one of those challenges that every business owner sort of has, and just understanding the importance of having cash in the bank to sort of meet all your creditors. Making sure that you when you go into business, you sort of pay yourself last, right? When you've got staff, they're always guaranteed a paycheck on the Thursday or Friday whenever they get paid. But as a business owner, you sort of pay yourself last. So some of the challenges I've had is not realizing the importance of money and how to sort of I just thought my CFO said to me, mate, you're doing great sales, but you're spending such and such here. And for me, it was constantly, all right, that just means I need to sell more. And in terms of growth, we grew, we had massive growth. In the first year alone, we had 30% growth. In the following year, we had 40% growth. So in the space of 2 or 3 years, we've almost, we doubled our business. But in terms of profitability, that was a completely different thing. So just understanding the difference between turnover, profitability, cash flow, there have been some of the smaller challenges. And, some of the bigger challenges was, I sort of had someone in a business, that a joint venture that I had with another accountancy firm, and being a Pacific Islander, I sort of trusted that person to, run that business, the way I sort of wanted it to be run, and that didn't work out exactly the way I wanted it to. But one thing I did learn out of that was it actually got me gave a taste of how to grow a business and grow an asset and then sell it, and I guess reap the rewards of growing that business and growing that asset. So, that gave me a taste of that. And, people go into business usually for two reasons. One is, I guess, people want to go into business for 2 reasons. Number one is to sort of grow a business and then grow the asset and sell the asset and hopefully use those funds for something else. Or secondly, grow the business and pass the business onto some, a legacy business, and pass that business onto your family. And I think that's what I want to do. I think I want to grow the business and eventually have a couple of the kids sort of work in the business and take the business to the next level. So
yeah, well, we wanted to do that too. We said to our kids, okay, who wants to run the accounting business? Yeah, no. Nobody. Not interested at all. We're like, oh, okay, that's not happening then.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll have better luck than we did.
Hopefully. They'll go. The plan is they go work for someone else and make mistakes working for someone else. And once they've made those mistakes, they can come back and join the business.
Go make your mistakes with someone else's money. Come back when you've learned a thing or two.
Yeah.
I liked what you said too about sales, because I think that's a common misconception. I need to make more money, therefore I'll just go sell more. But if you're not actually selling stuff that's profitable, you can potentially just get yourself into more and more trouble, as opposed to making more money for yourself.
Yeah. Definitely. That's the sort of mentality I had was, okay, if the more I spend, the more I've got to sell. But, profitability is obviously, the most important thing. If it's not profitable, if you're not sort of pricing your products or pricing yourself, I guess, where it should be, you're never going to make money. And I think that's always a challenge with us Pacifica people is knowing your worth and knowing what you should be charging. We always undervalue ourselves. We always do it. It's always difficult for us to ask for the deal and to close the deal. And a lot of the times, our people do things for free. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge.
How have you, I'm assuming you've had that challenge too, where people have expected since you're in business, you've got lots of money, because that's what people think. Oh, you've got a business, you've got lots of money, you can do this for free. How have you dealt with that in the past, having to, tell friends or family that actually, no, you can't just give away everything for free?
Yeah, look, the insurance business is one thing, right? So, for our clients, it's like, if you don't pay your insurance bill, you just cancel it and you're like, drive your car, man, good luck, you've got no insurance. So, that's been pretty easy. But in relation to the consultancy stuff that I've done, Pacifica people are always giving advice away for free. Like the last couple of years, I've sort of learned how valuable, advice is in relation to whatever it is that you specialize in. And I think a lot of the times that, I've sort of given that advice away for free, and haven't really valued it. And I guess to your last point around, being in business, I think, being Pacific Islander, being of Samoan descent, I think, a lot of our family sort of just go, yeah, he's in business, him and his wife and kids must have, tons of money. And they don't realize, how difficult business is. And, and it's constantly reminding them if we're financially stable, that it allows us to help, I guess, them more. It allows us to help our extended family more. And I think that's the sort of challenge that, we got to, that's the sort of things that we need to remind people, is that, just because you're in business doesn't mean you're rolling in the cash. And, you need to look after yourself first before you can sort of extend and help everyone else.
Yeah, that's something that we try to tell business owners too, is, the more that you have, the better you can help other people. So go out and make more money for yourselves, value yourself, charge for it, because then you can give back. You can't give back from an empty cup.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. How are you coping with the accent? All good?
We're getting there. You know what they say, about the... I was going to say, you know what they say about Australia? The only thing wrong with Australia is all the Australians. But you're Samoan too, so that's okay. I forgive you.
Yeah.
Big obstacles? Any big obstacles that you've faced in business in the last 6 years? And how have you overcome them, and what have you learned from them?
Look, I think that I touched on it. It was the sales. So basically, the situation there was, I had a joint venture with an accountancy firm. We were the general insurance advisors that were sort of in that business, and that portfolio was dealing a lot with high net worth individuals. And I put a Palangi guy in there that I thought I could trust. As a private school boy, spoke the lingo, presented really well. And because it was himself, and he had two other staff that were placed in there. He sort of got lost in that culture. The accountancy firm that he was placed in was a tier 2 sort of accountancy firm, and he sort of got lost in the glitz and glam, and pretty much try to take the business away from me, because basically the arrangement is that the accountancy firm referred all their clients to our joint venture, and we'll do all the general insurance. And what I sort of found was that this guy was sort of setting up a business on the side, trying to put all the clients through there, and I discovered it, and it was pretty shattering just to discover some of the communication that was happening between him and the CEO of the accountancy firm. And that was a massive challenge. Basically what that meant was, we got into a battle where, we wanted to do a proper market valuation of the business. The accountancy firm wanted to discount it heavily because, it was all their clients. It was emotionally, it was tough. I sort of placed my trust, and that's what we do as Pacific Islanders and Samoans. We trust people a lot, and, I trusted him to do the right thing. And, but on the flip side, it actually, when we completed the whole sort of process, it actually gave me a good taste of what it was like to sort of build an asset, because we built that business from scratch. And then it got a 1.5 times multiple on revenue when we sold it, and then we discounted it a bit. And basically, I walked away with a chunk of money, and it actually gave me really good taste of what it felt like to grow something grow an asset and sell it. So it was good.
There's always bonuses to challenges like that. And can I just also point out that that wasn't our accounting firms?
Oh, that's how they roll over here in Australia, man.
No, doggy dogs, crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe one day we'll find out. One day soon, hopefully. Hopefully that won't happen to us, though. So let's touch on insurances, because I know that that's what you do. And, I'm pretty sure, in fact, I was talking to a business owner the other day who had no insurance and was going out doing big jobs. Let's talk a little bit about the types of insurance that business owners should be looking at doing and why it's so important to have that cover. I know it's it's like you're investing something really that you don't necessarily know you're going to use or need. So it's kind of like a bit of a gamble, which I think some people see it as. So why is it so important, and what should business owners be looking at?
Look, depending on what business it is, I'll talk about obviously what I give you is the Australian context. I don't want to be sued by some Kiwi guy, by some Kiwi business. But look, as a minimum, you look at protecting your assets, so there's products such as a business back insurance, and there's things such as fire and theft and accidental damage. There's things such as public liability insurance, and at a minimum, that's what you should be taking out. If you're giving advice, you should look at taking out professional indemnity insurance. And look, that's a constant battle that we have, right? It's like educating our clients around, what insurances they should take out and the likeliness of them ever having to claim. And, and that's what our job is just advise them, okay, what is it that what sort of risk and exposure does your business have? And what sort of risk and exposures do you want to shift onto an insurance policy, and what sort of risk and exposures do you want to self-insure, or what is it that you want to happily gamble and exposure that you want to take on yourself? So that's, I guess, pretty much a quick rundown in 30 seconds.
Your 30-second elevator pitch.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, we have most of those in New Zealand too. Indemnity insurance, liability insurance, theft, fire, and and it's so true though. If you are giving advice like us, we have to make sure that we're covered just in case. Or if you're in construction and you're out on jobs, you make an error, cause a lot of damage or something, then you need to make sure that you've got cover, because you probably cannot afford to pay the damages for, especially if you're on like multi-million-dollar, doing multi-million-dollar construction work or something like that. You need to get the insurance company to pay for it.
Yeah.
Pay your premiums.
Exactly. Pay your premiums.
I tell you, it's actually not a bad thing, insurances. Some people don't like it, but I think it's, better to be safe than sorry. Yeah.
And like with the stuff that we do at the moment, so with PBC, or Pacific Business Sports and Entrepreneurs, so off the back of that platform, it's been pretty interesting, because off the back of that, I've actually got a lot of Pacific Islander clients now, and it's always interesting just having the conversation with them around using Western tools such as insurances and stuff that would help offset those sorts of risks. I think we've got one of those mentalities that it's not going to happen to us, and this and that, but it's been pretty cool. So it's been really cool to sort of do that sort of stuff, and really enjoyed it.
That's cool. Ali says that we're insured to the hilt.
Actually, we've got a couple of brokers in New Zealand that we sort of refer to. So a couple of our multinational clients that have businesses in Australia and New Zealand, we sort of refer to them. So if there's any Samoan general insurance brokers or Pacific Islanders, it'd sort of be good to sort of struck up that connection and see if we can refer some business to you guys.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Okay, so let's go back to your business journey. Looking back on the 6 years that you've been in business, what are some of the things that you want people to learn from your journey?
If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. That's probably the first one. Find something that you're passionate about and get into that. So what insurance has allowed me to do is it's something I absolutely enjoy, right? So we're sitting there helping customers when they're most vulnerable, when they want, we're basically selling policies that, are saying that, when it matters most, we'll be there to sort of protect you. And, so find something that you're passionate about. Insurance has allowed me to sort of diversify into consulting and stuff that I actually really enjoy. I've had the opportunity to sort of co-found and sort of launch Pacific Business Sports and Entrepreneurs, and the size of the business is now, it's actually allowed me to focus a lot of my time into that. So I probably spend 60% of my time in insurance and 40% doing stuff that I actually really, really enjoy. Sort of we're in the process at the moment of launching the Pacific Diaspora Fund that you and myself and Ellie have spoken about on a couple of occasions. We've really helped Pacific businesses, and we've sort of mentored a lot of the young entrepreneurs in Samoa. And so it's allowed us, this business being financially stable, has allowed us to diversify into other things and do stuff that we really, really enjoy and what we're really passionate about. And I think, it's finding what you're passionate about. So that's another tip that I would give to someone. And, know your value and know your self-worth, and pressure test everything. So if you've got an idea about something, you need to pressure test every aspect of it. You're never going to be 100% ready to go into business. There's never a perfect timing to launch into business. But try as much as you can to pressure test stuff. So when I say that, get advice from people. Do your market research. Don't just ask people that are going to say, yes, that's a great idea. Really do your research, and make sure you know your numbers, and before you decide to go into business.
So true. So much gold inside of everything that you've just said there. So anyone who just watched that, you'll have to replay back and then watch it and write all of that down, because you can't wait too long, because you'll never really be ready. But there are definitely things that you can do to make sure that you're as successful as you can be, and that you're not wasting time and money on something that's really always going to be a dead end.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, Sarah says, who's that stud muffin in the suit?
Definitely not the guy that's in the intro photo, that's for sure. What business does he, right? Jeez.
Yeah, my husband knows all about that too. He's comfortable and happy, or just extremely stressed.
A bit of both.
And is there anything else that you'd like to leave us with today before we finish up?
Just just find what it is that you enjoy and chase it. And business isn't easy, but it's definitely rewarding, right? It's definitely rewarding. It's nice to sort of build something that's yours, something that you can decide what to do with it, whether you decide to sell it, and retire, or pass it on to your kids, and hopefully they don't ruin it. So that's basically it. Just find something you're passionate about, chase your dreams, and don't give up. Awesome.
That's really cool. Thank you so much for your time tonight, Bernard. I mean, mind you, it's not that late there, because you're in Australia, so it must be like 6:30, whereas it's 8:30 here. But I still appreciate that you've hung around at work to have a kōrero with me and have a cup of tea and share your insights and your knowledge. So thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
So, and hopefully we'll see more Samoan or even Māori businesses from Australia shortly. So that's us for this week, whānau, but we'll be back next week. We're going to be Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. We've got quite a good lineup for next week. So I will see you on Monday at 8 p.m. Mā te wā, and thank you again, Bernard, for your time tonight.
Thanks, Wendy.